Hi everyone, I am back with episode 19, if I'm not mistaken, of this Arty music series. I hope you can hear me. I shall actually come a little closer so that you can hear me clearly. In this episode, I actually wanted to cover a little bit more about the way I paint and why I choose certain approaches. One of the things that I do is I tend to work on several pieces at the same time. Of course, sometimes I do work on one specific painting and I will not deviate from it to any other painting, and that I will usually have reasons for that. Maybe it's the kind of concept that I'm really devoted to and I want to just focus on that and bring it to life without distraction. But usually I tend to have several paintings going on, and I have a couple of reasons for this. Each painter will have to figure out what works best for them based on their approach, the way their brains work, their personality type. And sometimes you might change up how you work on your painting or paintings. But for me, I work on several because of the fact that I tend to be a perfectionist, and this is actually more of a problem than a beneficial attribute to my character. What happens is that I tend to get if I'm working on one painting, I get very obsessive and I try to create a masterpiece out of it because I feel that this really represents me or the things that I'm really concerned about. And then this feeds into my approach, my relationship to painting and creativity, and it eats up the enjoyment that I have whilst painting because I'm now focused on getting to that end product as opposed to being very aware of being immersed in the creative force. And when this happens, I tend to be a little more stressed and anxious, and I lose touch with painting in a sense, and I always have to take a break and then figure out where I'm going wrong, because in the end it's always you as a painter that has made a mistake. It's never the painting itself that has gone wrong. It's just somewhere along the way you have gotten lost, you've gone off the path, and sometimes you need to take the time to come back on the path before you really continue working on a piece. So because of this obsessive perfectionist attitude that I have, what I do is I work on several paintings at the same time so that my attention is spread thin. That way, instead of trying to obsessively create a masterpiece, I will understand that there are several pieces that need my attention, and I spread my focus across them all and realize that there are multiple ways to manifest an idea or depict an idea, or there are many facets to one concept. And I find that this really frees me to just explore and enjoy without trying so hard to create that one piece that represents what I'm into. Sometimes I work on just 2 or 3 different paintings at the same time, but with smaller paintings like I'm working on right now, I will have quite a few actually and the reason I have so many, say anywhere between 6 to 10 maybe, because they are small and it's a handleable size and I know beforehand what I am painting. I find that another reason that I love working on several pieces at the same time is that I get to work on a specific phase of paintings when I'm in the mood to do so. For example, sometimes I want to be in the beginning phase of a painting. I always enjoy the blank canvas in front of me and that feeling of stepping into an adventure, laying down the first brush strokes and the early washes, and just really opening up a painting as opposed to tying it down and completing it. So when I'm in that mood, I don't really want to jump out of it, going from blocking it in and then working on it, getting it to the middle phases and then to the final stage, just because that is the natural linear progress of it. what I would rather do is just continue working in that beginning phase. So then I will start a painting, put it aside, and then start on another painting, and then put that aside, and then again a third painting maybe. And what this does is that I get to stay in that phase and really enjoy just stepping into adventure until I suddenly feel like, actually, I want to do something else now. And sometimes when I feel like just working on details and just being very intricate, and I love that feeling of finishing a painting and that satisfaction that comes with seeing it all come together. Sometimes I just want to be in that phase. So then, because I have so many paintings that are almost complete but not quite there yet, I can just pick up one, finish it, and then if I want to do some more finishing, I can pick up another one and do the same thing. So having all these paintings in different phases available, for me, it allows me to really just enjoy myself depending on whatever mood I'm in. It's a bit tougher with larger paintings, or at least it's tougher in the sense that if you have so many of them. With larger paintings, I tend to work on 2 or 3 at a time. With smaller ones, I can go up to around 10 at a time. And because of this, because of the fact that you are working on so many paintings over a period of time, unlike when you work on one painting, finish it, and get to another painting and then finish that, it's quite obvious. You can see the productivity there. With this, you have weeks and maybe months of absolutely nothing coming out because of the fact that you're working on so many at the same time. But then suddenly at the end of it, you suddenly have a random amount of paintings all at once because you've completed them, added the final strokes over a matter of days, for example. And I tend to work like this, so it's it does. Sometimes you do wonder whether you are being productive, whether you are actually doing anything, because you don't see the results in terms of a finished product. But then all of a sudden you have so many new pieces that you can relish really and share with everyone, and I love that feeling. So it's an interesting approach. There are definitely pros and cons to each, so I would suggest you figure out how you work and how your brain approaches solutions or problem solving, and figure out what works for you. And sometimes you might have to switch it up depending on the paintings. Like I said, sometimes you want to work on one painting because of the idea or the fact that you really need to give yourself totally to it. Other times, like me, you might just need to be able to know what your flaws are, what your problem spots in your personality are, and then work around them or use them and channel through them so that you can find new ways of being productive and being in the creative force. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this. The reasons why I work on several paintings at the same time. Now, if you are similar to me, or if you have different reasons for working with several paintings at the same time, please feel free to comment below. Or if you have a different way of working with paintings, do let us know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyhow, I think that wraps up this video for this week. I hope you could all hear me. There's been a lot of wind today. Anyhow, I will see you next week with a new video. If there's anything specifically that you want me to cover, feel free to ask. You can message me on any of my social media. So until then, take care and goodbye.